He's Captain Ravi. He's from Punjab and he's a role model and he's a real hero in our society. That's why I'm trying my best to, have a live one-on-one with him to share his experiences, his journey. And unlike the other people in our industry, he's, you know, doing a lot for the society. Like I'm trying my bit to impart education knowledge. He's trying his best by, he's a Secretary General of an NGO for women empowerment and children. So that's what, I wanted him to come and, share his experience and his knowledge, why he chose this, what were the challenges that he faced. So it's going to be interesting. Okay. Studies and all to find that I'll be continuing on my other sessions as well. Let me try him again. Thank you for your patience. Hello, sir. Sir, is it better now? Okay, he's worked on the ships, oil bath ore, one of the toughest ships those days. And he's quit sailing in 2013. After that, he has good experiences in shore. Let me see if he can come back online. I'm sorry, guys. I'll not be accepting any other request. I'll be just one-on-one with me and Captain Ravi. So I'm sorry for that. Leonardo, what's up? Okay, he's requesting again. Fingers crossed. Hopefully. Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you and see you.
All right, perfectly perfect. So, very good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Captain. Thanks for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. So, friends, we have Captain Ravi, his first live session with us, and I'm the host, Captain Vijay, on behalf of Maritime Universe. And thanks to Maritime Universe, I was, you can say, lucky enough to be at least, come across a gem of a person. And I have some few questions. I'm sure, he'll be able to guide us, share his journey and his experience. So he's a role model and he's a real hero in our society. So starting with the first question, sir, can you just, share your journey from, cadetship to master?
First of all, thank you very much for all those kind and nice words for me. I don't think I half deserve all those. And good evening to all the viewers and everyone who are watching it. Thank you so much. Okay, my journey, I started as a cadet in a foreign company. Fortunately or unfortunately, never worked on Indian ships. So I started with a Hong Kong company in 1980. So probably most of the guys, the boys who are watching us, they were not born yet. So uh, I started as a cadet in 1984. I cleared my second mates, and those were the times of real bad recession which was going on. Companies were laying off officers, or even the cadets, who had cleared second mates, etc. They were giving them 7 years and NOC. You come after 6 years, 7 years. It was ridiculous. Some people quit, and I was one of the lucky ones. At that time, I was a cadet on bulk carriers and tankers, and that time there was a company which was, reactivating laid up very old obo ships in Europe, and they were looking for basically, the officers in India in those days. We didn't have too many obo experience. So this company, they were looking for, especially the boys who had some kind of tanker and bulk carrier experience. So I was one of those lucky ones. These four ships were reactivated. I was put in one of them as a third mate, 1984, I think November or something. And that's how my journey as an officer started. And I always tell, that even when I started as a cadet, I come from the days of Columbus navigation. We used to have one sextant, you know, and one ancient radar, which would give you nothing. And the captain did not allow cadets and junior officers to come anywhere near to that radar. And the radar were used basically, only during the making port or traffic times. Otherwise, it was switched off all the time. And we used to have one fix per day. The in the morning time take a longitude, and then afternoon take a latitude and cross, and you have one position in 24 hours. And sometimes you meet see these terrestrial objects, and you do a fix and actual position. So that was Columbian navigation, and then came the satellite navigator, which was a you could say a kid brother of GPS, and then GPS, differential GPS, and then came the real nice colored radars, day and night radars, and then the paperless charts, ActDisk, and I mean, I have seen. I'm one of those kind of generations which is not averse to change, because because I have worked with mostly non-Indians. In most of the seminars, etc., it was said that Indians hate change, which is sad. Which is sad because in the merchant navy, I mean, it's a constant change. New things are coming. You have to keep adapting to the situation. So I am one of those who have come from Columbus navigation to the total state of the art equipment, and so I'm very lucky and happy. And then second mate in the same company, then in the on the oboes, and then the master on the oboes, and then one ship I did as a master, the last ship as a oboe. Then I changed over to the Cape size bulk carriers, and in it continued. I got command, I think, in 95 end or something, and and then 2000. And I was always looking for a shore job. My first interest was always teaching and training. I always loved doing it. I used to teach and train cadets on board. That used to be my favorite pastime. Cadets used to be my favorite on board. And then 2003, I quit for a short period. I was looking for a show job. I became a CEO of one of the car companies. They had Maruti car companies, a friend's company who they didn't have anyone to look after. So I was looking after two of their old new car showrooms, one old car showroom, two body repair shops, and two workshops. So I was there. I did for 6 months, and I got a offer to join in Jaipur as a principal of a marine academy. So 2 years I worked there, and second year they also made me executive director of that academy. And unfortunately, they had some issues with the DG shipping, and there was more of a ego hassles than anything else. And when ego hassles come, DG is big. they have a bigger ego. So DG Shipping 1, the academy closed down, although we were one of the better academies in those days. I'm talking about 2004 to 2006. I had seen and heard about academies who used to, teach you in the garage in some tent somewhere. We had a full-fledged, it was one of the old schools converted into academies. We were doing a good job, but anyway, DG Shipping 1, we were closed down. I was back to sea. And after a gap of 3 years, again, I was lucky that this company took me again as a master. They didn't, make any noise that I have been on ashore 3 years. And that was also a time, when the merchant navy was going from one change to the other. Drastic changes were coming up. So anyway, so I continued working till 2013 very happily, and 2013, 14, and that was I'm a family guy, I was missing my family as long as they were sailing with me most of the time. Kids were small. I was okay, but then at some stage they have to continue to the higher studies. So then I also quit, and that's about my the cadet to the master stage, and very happy that I was in this profession. I'm very proud to be a sailor or an ex-sailor.
Like many of us, like we are like proud to be, sailors, seafarer. And in short, can you describe the journey in merchant navy? How it has changed you when you came back to, finally when you quit.
Okay, I mean, I came from a small town called Hoshiarpur from Punjab, a meek, shy, underconfident boy from a small town lands up in a foreign company on a ship. But I always say for any person to start a new life or new profession, you need some very good bosses. And God has been very lucky and kind to me. The master on board was a father figure, one of the best any cadet could ask for. In our times, we used to be, 6 or 7 cadets on board. So I was one of the junior most new cadet, and captain is watching your movements, how you're eating, how you're treating the other family, women on board. It was like full-fledged grooming. When the captain is going ashore, he will make sure he'll take all the cadets in batches with him, free of cost. He'll give you beer, he'll feed you food, he'll take you for the movies and bring you back on board. What a fantastic time we had. So, I mean, from coming from a small town today, the man which I am, thanks to Merchant Navy, it made man out of a small town shy guy. And all thanks to Merchant Navy. And I would say early on, I don't know I mean, I keep talking to the new guys who are not, I mean, my friends, they keep complaining about the type of officers and crew which they are getting these days. They are not too happy. In my time, until the turn of the century, I would say, we had fantastic, competent, professional, responsible people on board. They were proud of their job. They had the job pride, good in their job, and they wanted to improve on themselves. Same was with me. When I was a cadet or second mate or third mate or chief mate, if somebody pointed out a fault, which actually, I didn't do something right, it would embarrass me. It would make me improve on that rather than, getting angry or shying away from the duties. I would, try to be better and make sure the officers changed his opinion about me before he left the ship. So, that kind of pride we had, and uh, and also, some of the masters, wonderful masters. I remember one master used to tell me, a seaman can never fail in life. Once you have worked on the ship, you can never fail in life. It's like nowadays we very commonly hear a word, Atmanirbhar. I don't want to be political on that, but we guys were Atmanirbhar. We guys were self-sufficient. I am one of those who is not very fond of cooking. I hate that part. Not because oh, men don't do it. No, I'm not one of those people. But cooking did nothing to me. But today, if I have to save my life to cook, I will do better cooking than anyone else. So that's what a seaman is. So my experience out at sea, met new people, and certain things, certain points which I learned, which were also Indian specific. Indians have the attitude of chalta hai, which you must have heard. We all hear it. Complacency.
Mm.
Complacency.
Casual approach.
All those who are listening to this talk, complacency, guys, is a killer. We do the same job on the ship every day for 6 months, 8 months, 4 months. Please remember, every watch is different. Do not be complacent. Do not think, okay, मैं तो कल भी वॉच पे आया था, अभी भी आया हूँ, और अटलांटिक ओशन है, खुला जहाज है, सी है, कुछ नहीं होगा. No. Once you are on the bridge, that's your temple. हमारे टाइम में, आर टाइम, लॉट ऑफ सेकंड when we were cadets, आप आके ऊपर माथा टेकते थे on the steering wheel and the other equipment. I mean, people have their own superstitions, whatever.
Absolutely.
So complacency is a killer. Number two, always remember communication. I always say lack of communication is mother of all the goof ups on board. And communication is not one way. Communication is two way.
Completely.
I, as a captain, I tell the chief mate, starboard side में ladder लगा दो pilot की. Chief mate tells the bosun, or let's say third mate, he'll tell the bosun. Bosun will tell two. All this information has to come back all the way to the master, not only verbally. As a master, I will go outside on the bridge wing, peep out, and see ladder is there, and then I'll again confirm. चढ़ के देख लिया, बॉय रखा हुआ है, लेंथ नीचे से ठीक है. Once I am confirmed, I am not that busy that, I have other things to do and I'll ignore this. No, I will do this. As a master, like they say, the buck stops there. Master is responsible for everything. It is not only a burden, a responsibility, it's also appreciation for your job, that you are so important on board as a master that you are responsible for everything what happens. That's the
Mm.
second thing, communication, two-way. Whatever, whether it is anchor lashing or somebody's working on the bridge, on the radars, or the scanners, whatever. Communication has to be both way. Otherwise, too many incidents have happened. That's number two. And the other thing is, master's job is not only to make sure. Oh, I'm sorry that I'm making too many things master
No, no, no,
specific,
no. I'm
because
making
probably
no,
I've
no,
been
no.
too long as a
Nobody
master.
else.
So
Trust me, sir. Nobody else is gonna share all this. They'll be more focused about all the over the top experiences. But this is the real
right,
experiences. I have also learned from a senior masters with the those days it was more competency, less technology. Nowadays, it's more technology
absolutely.
and competency has dropped down.
Has dropped them. That's a pity. That's a pity. And also, like you must have seen. I mean, I'm out of touch for last 7 years. You must have seen I mean, the boys who are new boys are coming. I'm sure they're very smart crowd, but they probably lack that the responsibility towards the job. Where now the priorities have changed. In our time, the priority was one: I have to go, I have to be competent, I have to be good in my job, and I have to become a master. Now, probably, the boys, they go, I'll go to the bridge, I'll take a selfie. The first thing I will post it on the Instagram. It's a pity. I see a lot of pictures. It's nice. I mean, people, you want to do these things, you do in your off time, whatever time. I'm not an old fashioned that way. I'm not a old timer. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to your ship, can be that is again another master had told me, ship can be the most beautiful, safest thing for you, and ship can be the most dangerous thing for you to sail. It depends on your attitude, how you live on a ship. So what I was saying, the other thing, other duty of a master is, master's duty is not only to make sure, the ship is running okay, cargo is good, charters are happy, owners are happy. Master's other good job is also the welfare of the people on board. You cannot be aloof to the ship staff. Nowadays, in our times, okay, there were no gadgets. People didn't have personal computers. The phones were not there. Mobile phones were, they didn't even exist. So people used to, kind of come to the smoke room and socialize, watch movies, darts, or whatever games, table tennis. But now, you have your own things, your own entertainment, sit in the cabin, but still the master must make sure that everyone is happy. Maybe have a Saturday barbecue party if it is safe or allowed, company specific, whatever rules. And, generally talk to people if they're happy. Some guy maybe, getting depressed, you don't even know, he's suddenly gone quiet. You want to go to his cabin and talk to him. Come, man, let's talk. Is everything okay at home? Because sometimes, things come out. So basically, these things about the crew welfare. Other thing I always say is companies have, regulations about uniform, wear a uniform, this and that. What on my ships, what I used to do, कि जब तुम, when the ship is sailing, I don't care what you wear. But once the ship is in port and I don't see you in a clean boiler suit or a very nice uniform, I'll hang you upside down. Period. There's no second way. Because when the ship goes to the port, you are the ambassadors of your company, of your country, of your
Country.
ship, and how you present yourself on the gangway. US Coast Guard is coming, Port State Control is coming, flag state inspectors are coming, some company superintendents are coming. They should see that okay, the guys, they have a name tag. Okay, they are wearing safety helmet is there, nice clean boiler suits, especially the guy who's on the gangway and officer who's kind of receiving them. He's not wearing some flip flops with a uniform or a jean and a shirt. I hate that. A jean with a uniform shirt. When there's a uniform, respect your uniform. Look nice, look smart, and present yourself. And half your work is done because believe me, people when they board a Port State Control, when he boards the vessel, you talk to him nicely, be professional, take him to the captain's cabin, and captain is sitting nicely with the uniform, talks to him nicely. Your half work is done. So, these are the basics. I mean, I won't go into, the ship business and ship running and other things. What I'm saying is for the young crowd, they should know these things, how important these things are to make your life easy. And remember, if the junior officers make the life of seniors easy, whole ship is happy and you are also happy. Because otherwise, it goes backwards. If you don't make your captain happy, he's going to make you unhappy. And other thing, the who's a good leader, quality of a good leader. Only one thing. A good leader always appreciates the work done by his team, gives them the credit, always takes the blame for whatever goes wrong. Period. When I became a master, I understood I don't need to impress anybody. I'm already a master. I'm a company's representative. So when somebody comes to me, oh, Captain, your ship is looking nice and lot of improvement. We see the reports and the ship is doing very good. How come? I don't say, oh, I did this and I did that. I say, I have a fantastic set of people on board. They have done a wonderful job. I'm so happy. And I make sure I say that in front of my crew so
Everyone.
that they hear it and the boss hears it. They feel happy. And whenever something goes wrong, I say, sorry, I'm the master. I take responsibility, but I will take responsibility. But later on, I'll make sure the person, whoever made the mistake, he learns from it. I am never for, to find a scapegoat. I never go for witch hunting, but I want to know the actual reason for anything, why something went wrong. Okay, find out the reason why it went wrong. Make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay, so now in my eyes, a person who makes a mistake once is forgivable if that person makes the same mistake second time, I'll crucify the guy because you are not learning from it. You have made the
Exactly.
same mistake again. Okay. So these are some of the things, and I used to be, as long as तुम अपने काम कर रहे हो, you at work, be very serious. उसके बाद, when you go to your cabin, wherever you are in your off time, whatever you do, I don't really interfere in your job as long as you're following code of conduct of my standing instructions and company's code of conduct.
Finish instructions.
So these are few of the things, and I mean, I follow these rules even on land. There's no difference between sea life and land life. And in fact, what I learned out at sea has made me a better person. That so many things I apply. It's like at home. I know if I'm handling some electrical socket, I'm not standing on a wet floor. This is
Mm.
common sense. This is common sense. Like, our older time master used to say, shipping is nothing but common sense, and which many people lack. So these are the things, and other thing which I would also mention. Is it getting too long?
It doesn't matter.
No, tell me whenever. Okay. So other thing, I can see it's 5:30. We have time. So other thing,
It doesn't
I would
matter.
like.
This is a few, the things that nobody talks about, especially in college, your functions and your mates, masters, they don't teach you all that. And present generation, the second mate, third mate sitting on the, captain's chair and, taking selfies. And juniors, juniors are seen them coming on the bridge in chappals, So that
I
shows
hate
the,
that. I hate that.
I've seen that, that shows the pride that they just think that this profession is, quick money. People have bikes and, cars, luxury cars, and we also want the same life. But they don't understand that this is you're representing your country, your profession, that pride is, it's coming, the graph is going down, to be honest. So whatever you're sharing is, perfectly. So you can please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I was just mentioning, which is happening everywhere, the zero error policy. Most of the companies are going into zero error policy. And I just want to say how this, a zero error thing came into the existence. The shipping industry picked up the zero error policy from the aviation industry, long time back, when they started. Obviously, aviation industry, if anything goes wrong in the aircraft, boom, you're gone. So they have to have zero error. So that's how the zero error policy came into the merchant navy. And then you have, all these near miss incidents and incidents and other things. So, basically, you know, like a lot of times, people don't know what is a near miss unless, forget that. I'll give you the small example. When I say, okay, oil spill drill, you are AB, you will be, we are taking bunkers on the port side, you will be standing on the starboard side. And one fine day early on, it just occurred to me, I must ask this guy, what is he supposed to do on the starboard side? And I asked him, what will you do on the starboard side? And it was my lucky day, he didn't know it. And I was like, oh my God. Sometimes, it is also you have to go slightly, maybe, a yard ahead to, make sure. I mean, I know, like you also know, we have so many pressures, on the ship nowadays. We don't have time for, training and
Fine.
teaching. But it doesn't take much time, asking two extra questions, which will save you maybe a bigger disaster in the future. So these things, sometimes people are there. You tell them, okay, this is your duty. He'll stand over there. He wouldn't know what was his actual duty. So you have to kind of explain to them, okay, when you're standing there, you make sure no oil spill is there, and your whatever equipment you were
Mhm.
carrying in your hand is working okay. And that's basically yours. So not just stand over there and with your, maybe a phone or something, click selfies. Nowadays, that's another dangerous thing. I don't know if it is allowed on deck or during working or not. I'm sure, guys must be carrying it in the pockets or whatever, because I
There are,
see,
there are
selfies
people
on the.
doing that. Yeah, there are people doing that. And like if they're caught, the terminals have cameras. So it is, of course, the company will be, blacklisted. But then those guys, that will be the last time because, that is static electricity and all that, tankers. one of the last thing that you would ever do on in your career.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, there are a lot of disadvantages, I mean, of today's, although, like I'm saying, the generation which is joining the industry is smart, but not responsible enough, because this merchant navy, the shipping job requires a lot of responsibility, a lot of responsibility. In our times, maybe the boys, including me, we were not that sharp people, but we were responsible, and our officers were good enough to teach us, like
Mm.
as a master also, like I said, cadets are my most favorite. There's a selfish reason also. Why? Because this cadet, when I train him well, tomorrow he'll come to my ship as a second mate, chief mate, or whatever.
Yeah.
So he'll be operating at my standards, which I
Mm.
expect him to, Okay.
Exactly, sir.
When I was a chief mate, I used to give them Saturday, Sunday off. In those days, it was never unheard of, oh,
Yeah.
cadet Saturday, Sunday off. So I used to give them off Saturday, study whole day. I used to give them a set of questions. Sunday, you come for the exams on the bridge, have exam, and then I'll get the marks and this and that without failure. And basic etiquettes, what I inherited from my forefathers in the merchant navy, I was passing on, give them some money to spend ashore, give them 20, 30, $40, ja jaake, kha
Those
pi
days.
le. Yeah. So I used to do the same. And when I became a master, I would request the chief mate कि please ये cadets को हफ्ते में 2 दिन 1 आध घंटा मेरे पास भेज दो please.
Mm.
Because same, I want to basically have a check on their progress, how they are going, whether chief mate is doing a good job on them. It's kind of his duty also to, make sure the cadets are being trained properly or whatever they registered, their books and their assignments. So I, as a master, used to do that also. And other reason was lively, happy you up and you cheer them up. So that's another reason. So this was part of my experience, you can say. And I learned writing, articles, poetry. I used to send my poetry and articles to Sailor Today magazine, and I used to write educational merchant navy related articles and send it to the company's newsletters they used to publish. So maybe sometimes I'll show those also whenever next
Sure.
time we have time. Yeah.
Also, so if, like my last ship, a 40-month rank experience made, we came to know that the vessel is going to be handed over. All right, so we still had 1 month to go, and we had to discharge the cargo, hand over to the, those guys. And it was he came on the bridge, and I told him, okay, what's your plan for this week for the deck maintenance? You know what he said? He says, do we have to do deck maintenance because we are anyways
Oh,
going to hand over, right? So I was like, your salary didn't stop, right? You will, till the time we leave the gangway, our salary is running. So we are supposed to,
continue.
have some professional standards and, do whatever we are supposed to do. Hand over or not, that is company's headache. But we are there, we are getting paid per day, a good wages. Then,
Right,
do we have
right.
to do the deck maintenance?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
So
Our
that
job is never
attitude
done till we leave the gangway.
and this attitude, like you said, that's why even if I'm also like trying my best to, teach the junior cadets, especially because they are gullible, they most of them will, like they're like sponge or you can say clay. We can mold them. This third mate, second mate, not all. Some of them are very adamant for this, to accept the good change. If somebody is like, sharing from his experience, they are just, we are like, 21st century, modern guys. We have 2 lakh, 3 lakh followers, and we just, who are you to, teach us the right way? This is how we are going to do.
No,
So
no, yeah,
the
yeah.
attitude, it's one of the important things that I also, stress on my everything attitude. If the guy has zero knowledge, I will go to an extent, to make sure that when he signs off, he has a good knowledge,
Some
when this
knowledge,
signs off.
yes.
But the attitude,
Abs
if he has a bad, maybe one, I'll give him a, chance, one chance, second chance. But attitude is very difficult to change, and that
Absolutely,
comes from your
absolutely.
own, upbringing or yourself. what respect you have for this job, how much hardships you have faced to earn this, price, that third
Right,
mid and
right,
second mid engineers.
right,
All right,
right.
so few questions regarding your, do you miss your sea life after quitting back in 2013?
Uh, Again, not really in that sense, but I miss the good times or the good memories, like on the Instagram or somewhere when I see pictures of other ships and other people, or they are doing certain things, or some operation is happening, or let's say anchoring is happening, or some bridge, or some party, or on the deck they have laid tables on a Saturday and having a dinner on the deck, those kind of things. Then I go back and think of our days, and but like I said, I was always a family guy. For me, it was more important. Plus, I served for almost 34, 33, 35 years out at sea, close to 35. And it was enough for me. So I don't really miss it in that sense, because I have had enough ample share of my time at sea, and there's time for everything. And and then I thought, I have to start a new chapter in life. So
All right, sir. So, can you just share about, your, you are a Secretary General of, an NGO for the women empowerment and betterment. So, can you just share some information on that, sir?
yeah, so this is a India-wide, NGO. It came into picture in 1948, one of the oldest. Jawaharlal Nehru at that time thought that in this country, immediately after independence, empowerment and education of women was more very important, which was a very good thinking. So that is how it started, and the Punjab chapter was started, I think, in 1973 or 72. And then I joined immediately, after hanging my boots. And in 2000, I think 15 and or 16, I joined because they were looking for some guy to, who was good in English and communication skills. So I could sit in their, dingy office and do certain work, And that time they were also not too happy with the, person who was looking after this job before me. So that's how when I joined, and the vice president and the other people, they spoke with me. And when they saw my work and all, they said, bullshit. You're going to be the secretary general. You're not going to sit on the computer and communicate here and there. And this was very close to my heart. And, you know, another interesting thing, when I was a cadet, it was my, social work runs in the family. I come from a political background. My father was a politician, freedom fighter, social worker. So social work was always in the blood. So when I was a cadet, I told myself, the day I become a, certified officer, start earning, I'll adopt some kids somewhere. So when I was third mate in 94 or 84 or 85, I adopted two children, one a boy from Senegal and girl from Colombia through foster parent plan, USA, Rhode Island, Warwick. So that thing continued for 3 years, and then I continued doing these things from time to time. So it was always there, and all these cadets I used to talk to and communicate on the ship, I always used to, once in a while give them this advice कि जिंदगी में जब भी पैसे कमाओगे, थोड़ा सा पैसा चैरिटी के लिए जरूर रखना, बिकॉज इट्स आवर मॉरल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. वी आर द प्रिविलेज पीपल. जो गरीब बंदा चौल में पैदा हुआ है और गलियों में उसकी सारी जिंदगी निकली है, उसका कोई कसूर नहीं है. व्हाई ही इज सपोज्ड टू बी देयर एंड वी आर सपोज्ड टू बी हियर. So we are privileged. He is underprivileged. It is our moral responsibility. It's very indecent to spend all the money which we spend on ourselves. So this is kind of my, it used to be my thinking. I used to, tell these cadets and बच्चों बड़े होगे पैसा कमाओगे थोड़ा सा लगाना जरूर. So this is how, and dreams do come true. Today, look, this NGO just fell in my lap, and I'm doing a good job. And now you're saying, what are we doing? So we look after the entire Punjab. We are running three continuous programs which are aided by the government, which is the Department, Women and Child Welfare Department Ministry. So one is a crèche for the children, 20 25 children, and they come in our crèche, and we look after their nutrition, health, and preschool, little bit of studies basics. And then second, we have a family counseling center. We have two counselors, postgraduate girls who counsel. They take the cases, any kind of women issues, divorce, wife beating, drug, and this and that, and family discord, or whatever. So those kind of things. And the third one is a vocational center where we have, we used to first have a stitching and tailoring unit. We ran it for 4 courses of 6 months for 2 years. And now we have a beautician course, 25 women again from, poor background. So we train them, and I mean, that's a government gives them, and end of their 6 months, they get a small, a goodie bag of a lot of stuffs to initially, if they want to start their independently start their business. So 25 of those. Besides that, something very close to my heart, which I started was gender equality and gender sensitization classes. So I made a small, program on the computer, PPT presentation, because like we all know, you know, in the class also, in the school also, when teacher is talking for after 20 minutes, we lose interest. So,
Yeah.
when you have audio, visual, some kind of interesting thing, so it becomes very interesting. So we are hitting the targeting boys, and girls of senior school and junior college. That is the time they understand sexuality, and also right time to, teach them. Basically, we are trying to all our life, since our childhood and our forefathers, the girls were told what to do and what not to do, and boys were, let loose. So we are trying to not really reverse, but we are trying to tell the boys now how to behave publicly with the girlfriends, with the
Mm.
women in the street, with the women at home, with the sisters, brothers, colleagues, and all these people. And there are certain things, and we are teaching the girls financial independence is the only reply. That's the only way they can have some standing in the society. Study, पढ़ाई करो, pick up a job, be financially independent, then you have respect in the eyes of the boys also and in your own eyes also. Otherwise, पिसते रहोगे, मरते रहोगे. So we do these gender sensitization classes, and then we again something I had picked up somewhere. I saw some small video. No, uh, they are taking Indonesian old used clothes, or the clothes which you don't need. They dry clean
Mm.
them. Some NGO in Delhi, they dry clean them. Then they put them in a shop and sell them at 20 bucks, 10 bucks, so that the people don't get that feeling that you're doing no, a charity to them, So people have that shopping experience. So I started the same thing in my NGO.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of friends of mine, they keep calling me, and every now and then they leave a box of clothes in my house or in my office. And we kind of, and they are clothes are good quality. So we put them there in the shop, say twice a month or 3 times a month, and basically just so people feel very happy when they come shopping, and and suddenly we tell them, okay, ye chunni free hai ya ye top free hai, and they feel very happy. Wow, So so these kind of things, you feel good, when you do these kind of things. Yeah.
Gotcha. And since you already mentioned that you got it, you were interested in them since your cadetship. So I was gonna ask you about, your motivation, but I believe you have already covered that. Oh, okay.
My
Regarding,
motivation,
yeah,
yeah, sorry, go
motivation.
ahead.
No, I believe you
Mot-
already covered. You have already been interested since, your third mate and
my my motivation, I would say my father, because
father.
he was known as the Messiah for the poor all my life till the day he passed away. He was only for the poor and downtrodden people. He was a member of parliament. He was a MLA. He was a chairperson of a DAV school institutions. Under them, there were 4 colleges and some 18, 19 schools, etc., etc. All my life, I have seen that person, doing only social service in charities, and free work for people, only for those, and that was kind of that runs in the blood, and you kind of, like they say, don't teach your children, be models. So my father was a model for us. We saw him doing all these things, and I learned that from him. Yeah.
And I mean, we all, our father, we all, he's a mentor in, some way or the other, anyways. All right, sir. Next question is, how your wife and your kids, their support when you started working for this NGO. So what was their reaction? You could have worked for any of the shipping companies, institute. You have a great knowledge, but then what was their reaction?
Yeah, okay. I told you when I quit, I had no idea what I was about to do, but I knew that I'm not going to sail anymore. It was like too long. I'm not one of those. There are some people who love merchant navy. They can sail forever. I was not one of those, with all due respect to them. So I was not one of those. So when I came, so I was wondering, and like I told you, I had the passion for teaching and training. So I joined a couple of another guys we were three partners. We started a marine academy here in Chandigarh, and we churned out, I think, three batches. And the idea was like we know, what is happening around the world, especially in India, all these fake agents, they go to villages. I mean, these people have not even seen a boat in their life. They go to villages, entice people, fleece them, take money, put them in some junk ship, and these people, they take so much of money. And these poor children, they go to the ship, work for 4 months, and then the ship is either sold or sunk or
So,
arrested. They come back home with money less than what they paid to the agent. And for next 3 years, they are waiting for the next ship. They don't get the next ship, and that's the end of their sea life. So the idea was to, basically guide people in the small towns. I used to go to my Sharpur town, go to all the schools, all those, friends who knew me, or the other, my school, this school, that school, and, kind of tell the students to join Merchant Navy, and we have this thing. So I managed with my goodwill, with my friends in the Merchant Navy, tried to place them on board. We always used to tell them, like, parents would know 100% प्लेसमेंट है कि नहीं. मैंने कहा व्हेन योर चाइल्ड डज ग्रेजुएशन उसकी 100% कोई आगे जॉब को
job
है क्या, नहीं
guarantee.
नहीं है ना. So I said I give you my full word that I'll try my best, because my idea is not to make money out of these children. I want to make sure, they go to the right place and they are the right people to go to the ship. So I also used to tell the children, during the initial screening, all those children who are right now watching it, they also must know you have to be very smart. You be good in your job. Your general knowledge has to be good. You have to, look good. Your attitude has to be good. And when you go, don't worry what question the person is asking. You know the question or not. How you are tackling, how you are handling that question, that is what matters. Some of the students who, from good schools who used to come for merchant navy jobs, I used to look at them and I knew if I am the master, I don't want him on my ship. I used to tell them, बच्चे तुम्हारे लिए मर्चेंट नेवी नहीं है, without offending them. I would never tell them why. I used to say नहीं, मर्चेंट नेवी नहीं है तुम्हारे लिए, कुछ और करो, किस चीज में तुम अच्छे हो. So sometimes what I'm saying is merchant navy is good, it's good money, but you better be competent. You better be competent. Just don't come to the ship because you want to buy a BMW. Ship is not a bank. Okay. So you be good in your job, be responsible, be competent, and strive to be a better version of yourself. You have to learn at each stage on the ship. Learn from your mistakes, never repeat the same mistake again, and that's it.
Also, sir, if you could share, your experience, so nowadays I see a lot of spoon feeding has to be given to all the, the new guys. If somebody does his hard work, does his homework, and then if he asks, any question, then you feel happy to explain it to him. But somebody will ask you some question without doing any homework, without taking any effort by himself. How to join merchant navy? Okay, this is how you join merchant navy. Which is the best institute? Then do we get a job after that? I mean, all the all spoon feeding, no hard work. They want to do it. They just want ready-made material.
That's really sad, because why? You remember our times, there was no social media, there was no Google Paji. We struggle to find information. We would, there were no phones. We would run to people, travel by trains or whatever. Go, somebody who knows something about merchant navy, go to him, sit with him, talk to him, and that's how we acquired information. And that is how on the ship also, the chief mate will say, go son, go find out. Typical question. Whatever you ask him, go find out and tell me. You had to run around here, and these students are so lucky. They have all the information on the Google. So before coming and asking stupid questions, you be prepared. These questions don't need to be answered. These replies are already there. You ask some technical, good, intelligent question is different. But don't ask these kind of questions, and that kind of worries me. Again, like I start thinking, okay, this guy, he's come to me for interview. He's asking these questions. Does he have the capacity to learn more? Is he gullible, or he's being foolish or what? Can I train him, or he's going to be stupid as ever? Do I want him on my ship? That's the only question comes to my mind. And if I want him on my ship, can I improve him, or he's going to be same? Then I won't take him. So basically, when hello.
Sir, just a small deviation. This was not part of the plan, but he is Captain Arun. Okay, he is a certified Jack Canfield success trainer, and he is willing to do a free, program on mind power and successful life for your, for your NGO, for your women empowerment.
Good evening, Captain Arun, Captain Ravi
Good
Chaudhary.
evening, sir. Good evening. I just heard about, as in when you're talking about charity, that's when I joined in. So I said, I'm a certified trainer and I've done so much of training. And if it's possible, then I definitely can, do a free program for your firm. I mean, where you are already doing so much, so I can add on to something. That was the thing I just proposed.
Oh, that's so nice of you. We can definitely take your services. I'll see how we can, work in the future and take advantage
Yes,
of you. So nice of you.
yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Arun. Thank you so much for offering, the service.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye. Good night. Yes,
So,
Captain.
basically, sir, in our conversation, I believe we have talked about, proper communication, then complacency, welfare of the crew, uniform standards, etiquettes, leadership. Be a leader, don't be a dictator. And we covered about your, your journey and your experiences, your valuable experiences, which again nobody talked about them. And we also talked about your NGO, and we are, you know, I'm your big fan, and we are definitely in full support, and we will definitely do a big part. There was one question which I liked it. Somebody said that what if we don't have any money, then how can we, do something for the society?
Good question, but I don't think you need money to do things for the society. Like in my case, although, okay, I have money, the people who, a few people who are in the kind of, executive committee, they have money. But we as a NGO are a poor NGO. I'm not one of those guys who will go and ask people, यार हमें donate करो मेरे पास NGO है. I'm the last person to go. But there are lot of friends who say, अरे यार कि मेरे पास कुछ पैसे पड़े हैं कुछ लगा दे अपने कोई बच्चा adopt कर ले. I love doing that. So anyway, so when you don't have money, you still want to work, just get out in the streets, in the markets in India, you will find a hazar ways of you'll be able to do some counseling. Some person is sitting in the middle of the street, okay, भूखा है तो किसी को उसके बोल के तुम खाना खिला दो, बट उसकी काउंसलिंग कर दो, उसको दिमाग को कुछ आइडियाज दे दो, उससे पूछो क्या करना चाहता है, कहाँ से आया, क्या आया, और just talk to that person. That also reminds me when we were doing second mates in Bombay. You remember Ray Road? We used to go there. So I was standing at the Ray Road railway station and waiting for my train and to go to VT. And this, a drunk beggar was sitting right next to me. And he looked at me, started mumbling something. So I sat down at his level and I said, Kya hua? And that guy, for next half an hour, I missed, I think, 2 or 3 trains. For next half an hour, he was telling me his life story. And I thought at that time, it was very important for me to listen to him than catch a train. That's what you can
Mm.
do when you don't have money. So, there are hazar ways of kind of tackling social issues. I mean, during the COVID times, people used to ask me, okay, we are fit and everything is okay. If you have something to be delivered to somebody, let me know. That's what you do. Deliver the stuff. I used to make, these packets of food grains worth 500 rupees, which would last about 7 to 10 days for a family of four. We used to have all the essentials. ये दो दालें हो गई, राइस हो गया, आटा हो गया, ये तेल हो गया, फलाना ये करके वो पैकेट बनाते थे. And people used to go and deliver. I mean, you don't need money to do the social work. Okay.
Well said, sir. Well said.
Hmm.
And definitely, if not everybody, but I have, it's always learning is never ending, and lots of experiences from you. So thank you for all the
Learning,
experiences.
learning never ends. When a person
Never
says,
end.
"Oh, I've learned enough," and I start, pulling my hair. Oh my God, is this guy fool or what? So, like at this age, also, I keep learning, and the best part is I learn from small children. There's another story. I was in, about 7, 8 years ago in Sector 9, and Chandigarh is, sectors. So in the
Sector wise.
Sector 9 market, uh, a rainy day. December evening, I was walking down. A small 4 or 5 year old girl came, held my ungli, and just took me. And I'm wondering, so I followed her. She took me to a shop. She said, I want a chappal. So I feel privileged and I feel, nice that God chose me for these things.
Mm.
So I bought a pair of shoes for her, socks for her, gave her biscuits. And the moment she got the biscuit, she bolted. I felt sad because I wanted to know more about her, her family, everything. But it gave me so much of satisfaction, and she taught me so much. At that day, I was like, oh my God, ये भी हो रहा है हिंदुस्तान में. That is also learning. So learning never ends. It's a experience.
All right, sir. So let me see if I can get some genuine questions.
Yeah.
Definitely, the you can I'll share his number. He's just a young master mariner, and he. I mean, it will be nice. At least he can do something for you.
ठीक है, sure. I will definitely love to have that.
All right. Anything for the female seafarers, sir? Since you work for the women empowerment, so anything for the female seafarers?
Oh, unfortunately, in my time, there were not too many. At least I have never sailed with any of them. But I used to wonder, what kind of responsibility a master will have when there's a female, sailor on board. I'm sure companies have their own guidelines, the conduct, etc.,
Policies.
etc. But I feel so happy, when I see on Instagram so many females, I mean, from India who are working out at sea and smart and independent and the financial independence. I this is there can be nothing better than that. This is the future generation. It's so good that they are this is the women emancipation basically. This is the real women. This is how they should have lived all their life, all the generations, which unfortunately never happened.
So
So I'm so
for me,
happy.
sir,
Sorry.
even after 15 years in this sea, now when I see this female, sea cadets, whoever like I got in touch with, they are my source of inspiration.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
We have Simran Sidhu, and he is again,
Yeah,
another
I,
source of
I,
inspiration.
I'm following her and I listen to her, it's nice. I think she's a cadet or something.
She's appearing for her exams. She believed I cleared her written and oral exams
Okay.
and the modular courses are pending. And she's
Yeah.
a
It's
bright
nice
student.
to
She's
see,
working with
these
mass.
young children, coming like this through the merchant navy. I mean, there was a time people used to ask me when I was a cadet, or a tough life. And now I see these girls doing that job, which we were doing.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
so, I
exactly.
mean, we feel so proud and so proud of them.
Right, sir. So I'm done from my side. Thank you very much for coming live, taking